Hey y'alls, welcome back to SCS200. It's me, Dr. E, here to help you out with Theme 2 Week 3. This week's all about working more on your project, right? Specifically, you're gonna, start your research investigation. You're gonna search for credible sources. You're gonna vet the sources, all right? And you're gonna reflect on the literature that you found, okay? Now, let me give you a quick agenda for this video. All right, I'm going to go over key concepts, going to go over assignments, I'm going to add in my 2 cents along the way. I'm going to try to make it as concise as possible, try not to drone on. That said, let me dive on into it. Okay, here we go. First up, for kind of key concepts this week is we start with the example of Mark and his interest in the relationship between social media and happiness. Now, let me point out that this example of Mark, right, is essentially your how would you say well, it's a prime exemplar, all right? And everything that it talks about that Mike does and should do is what you need to do with your project, okay? Now, what I suggest is, clearly Mark has his specific interests, all right? You just plug in your pieces into that framework, okay? And it will literally walk you right through each step of the process. Not only do I suggest this, but it's kind of required. Okay, you'll see that our short answer responses and your project 1 and 2, your work on them, all focus on this for this week. Okay, starting the research investigation, okay, we really kind of focus in on what are keywords, okay, and this really kind of comes from your thoughts and ideas that you've been playing with so far for your project, okay. We've had discussions about them. Many of you have emailed me. I've given you feedback, all right. Now, to start with, I really suggest that you invest in using social science terms to frame your research interests and question, okay? Because that will help you when it comes to key words that you're going to use to search for relevant and credible scholarly literature about your thing, okay? So yeah, it gives some, there's a nice little video that it goes over Mark's example. Our MindEdge resource goes over kind of like the differences between keyword searching, subject searching, and using Boolean search parameters, which are like and, or, not. And so that's a good way to limit your search parameters, okay, and help you zero in on the good stuff that you want to find. Generally speaking, you tend to start, you ease into it, right? And each step of the way, the more you search, the more you read, you'll constantly kind of be thinking back to your original idea, and it may reframe things for you, right? You're like, I didn't know how to put it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, use that. All right. Another good way is to kind of like brainstorm, get your thoughts down, and then like highlight, the key words that pop out about it. That's another great strategy. Also, we'll get in. I'll get into in a little bit here about Shapiro Library and making use of those resources because they're invaluable. All right, so you can see in our MindEdge resource about Mark's study on social media. It really highlights how his personal experience leads to his research idea and questions, right? That's kind of a key thing to note, right? This all started with a personal observation in his family. Okay, it's really cool that I see a lot of you doing the same thing in the research ideas that you've shared with me in the discussion boards and by email. Yeah, look at how Mark takes his original ideas and questions and develops keywords from them. Okay, it's a really good example. And in fact, you have some short answer questions, responses that you need to respond to specifically about that. Okay, so wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Check out Mark's example. Follow it. Yeah. Moving on here to learning block 3.2, searching for credible sources. So we always start with, what's a credible source, what's a non-credible source, and we have some specifics that we use to help differentiate between the two. Primarily, is it peer-reviewed? Right? Peer-reviewed means that a group of professionals in some capacity went over it with a fine-tooth comb and found that it cut the mustard, right? That it upholds a specific standard, right? Now, if it's an academic article that's been peer-reviewed, that's an academic standard, right? If it's a piece of research or article from, say, a professional organization, they'll have their own unique standards. However, they're often very close to the academic standards, all right? But a special note, professional organizations, they'll have a wide scope of stuff, and so you kind of have to be careful about what you use and how you use it. Even more so if it's kind of a quasi-professional organization, right? Like they're not accredited, they're not recognized. You see what I'm saying? Those sorts of professional organizations, stay away from them. It's not worth it. It's pretty much blogging, right? So peer review is really kind of the key thing that you want to be able to identify with any of your sources, all right? Our MindEdge resource goes over locating academic sources. There's actually a whole bunch of embedded links right in there for you. You can directly access them. I also have some specific ones to Shapiro Library in the written portion of this announcement. And I have them organized by a social science perspective, anthropology, sociology, psychology. And if you click on those, it'll take you to the subject page. And from there, you can immediately click on Find Articles. You can click on a specific research database, right? Like, so you can search by subject and you can search by keywords, and then you can refine the parameters within Shapiro with your findings, your search results, to narrow in and find the good ones, right? The ones that are peer-reviewed, the ones that are authoritative, the ones that are objective, okay? Get more into that a little bit. So there's a game, goes about credible sources, do it. There's some more short answers about professional organizations. You should be able to understand the differences between a professional organization and an academic institution. Let's see here. They check back in about Mark, focuses in about how Mark kind of refines his focus, right? And this is kind of a key process that you're going to be doing. It's something that I've been trying to help y'all with in our discussions and email conversations, right? You'll see me talk about limiting, refining, things like that. And so in this section in 3.2, it gives a nice kind of insight into that, and it highlights how Mark starts making connections between different things. Okay, social science is all about connections. We see relationships between things. That's what we do. All right. There's a whole series. There's 2 short answer responses all about academic and scholarly lit. You actually have to find some sources. You got to copy and paste key info and links, download PDF files, create APA formatting for it. It walks you through every step of the way. Moving on and talking a little bit about vetting resources. Okay, we use a very specific model, right, or method, if you would, to do that, and it's called Crapo, right? Tongue-in-cheek. Whoever thought that up? And it stands for. Let me. I want to make sure I get this right. Scroll to it. Where is it? There we go. Currency, relevancy, accuracy, authoritativeness, purpose, and objectivity. Crapo. Okay, and you will learn all about it in this week's materials. Pay close attention to it. All right, this is how you will vet any given resource. You will assess it. That's kind of what vetting means. You're going to assess if it qualifies as credible. And this Crapo system, sorry, it just makes me laugh. Uses a point system, and you tally it up. And if your source scores 35 or and above, good to go. If it's below 35, try again. And just a brief word on that. That is how it goes. All right. There's no shortcut. There's the way that our text and how and what I'm explaining is the way to go about it. All right. I gotta stress that, because this is often an area where students will be like, I'm really rushed, I have this much time to get this much done, and so this is where folks start trying to cut corners. If you do that here, your entire project will suffer. Okay, so take my warning on that. Okay, listen to me. It's in your best interest. Okay. Let's see here. Looking at my notes. There's a good thing in there, a good example about Mark assessing his sources. And it presents an example of a write-up that Mark has done for one of the articles that he's found that's passed the Crapo test. Okay? And this is an excellent practice, right? Because if you do this, pretty much everything you need, you're building it along the way as you go, right? So you'll see in this example that Mark is assessing an article, right? It's peer-reviewed, all that, and like he summarizes it. He highlights key things from it, right? Like the meaty stuff that he's going to be wanting, right, for his project. And he organizes it in nice paragraphs, right, with full in-text citation and full references. Okay, all right. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Check out the references of the sources you find. It's a great way to find more sources. All right. Think smarter, not harder. Okay. I don't want to go off too much on that. I think I've said what I need to say about, incidentally, what you call that thing that Mark did, right, assessing that particular resource, you call that an annotated bibliography. Okay, and you can organize it so like you have them all in one file, all right, all alphabetical or whatever, right? Or you can like make individual files for each one. There's a million different ways to go about it, but they are invaluable when it comes to doing a research project because it's getting all your ducks in order, right? Getting them all in a line, right? So then it's a matter of cutting and pasting and stitching. Hope that makes sense. Moving on. There's a whole series of short answer responses all about using Crapo, so make sure you know your Crapo. You also have work to do on your project 1 and project 2. Now, you should have already set up files for these on your device or a cloud file or whatever, and keep them labeled separately, treat them separately. and you're going to be, adding and building to these things as you go along. And so, save all of your stuff, all right, in these. It will help you, all right? Guaranteed to help, okay? In fact, that's exactly what I would do if I were doing what you're being asked to do. Note, APA formatting. What's this? I've never heard of that. Is that really important? Yes. Yes, it is. APA is a specific formatting style that is used extensively in the social sciences. There are others, but this is the one that we use, so just focus on that one. In the written portion of the announcement, down below, you will see I have a link when I talk about project work. In there, Project 1, I have an embedded file that you can download called the APA Appendix. It has absolutely everything you ever need to know and a whole lot more about APA style formatting. Okay? Consider it your Bible for formatting in this class. Okay? I clearly don't have time to go all through all that with you. However, I will extend, if you have questions or concerns about APA formatting, email me or give me a call, or we can set up a Skype or something, and I can share insights. Right now, I can tell you, check out my posts in the discussion board. I use APA formatting for all of my work, okay, all of my writing in this class. All right, you'll see my references and stuff in my announcents. So I try to set a good example for you, so you can also use my material that I provide you as a source for examples of APA formatting. All right, that's where I'm going to leave this. Not bad, 17 minutes. And I will see you all on the discussion board. And of course, if you have any questions, any concerns, anything at all, I'm at your service. Have a good one. Take care.